Hi there. I'm Sarah Bucko. Welcome to Back to School Night virtually. Sorry I couldn't be there tonight. I just wanted to say thank you for understanding, and I wish I could be there. My dad is turning 80, and so I had an opportunity to go back home and visit and celebrate him. So I'm thankful to get the opportunity to do that, and so I thank you for understanding that I couldn't be there with you in person. So I'll just go through the slides that I would normally go through in person. And if you have any questions or concerns at all, please reach out and we can always email back and forth, or I'm happy to meet with you if you need. Um, let's see here. My name is Sarah Bucko. It's my 10th year teaching at Rocky. I student taught here back in 2008. So it's been a full circle moment getting to come back and continue my education career here. And I hope to retire here one day. It's my 17th year teaching total, and I spent 7 years down in Loveland before I came back to Rocky. I have two bachelor's of science degrees, one in horticulture and one in wildlife science. And I also have a master's in educational technology that came in really handy when it was COVID. You'll see in the pictures that I am big into animals. Obviously, my family in the upper right-hand corner there is from North Carolina. I am from there originally. I moved here in 2002, and so that I'm going back to North Carolina to celebrate my dad there. My mom, my dad, my sister are in that photo. And again, my dog babies are in those pictures, and I have chickens, and I like to garden. So I like to spend a lot of time outdoors. So that's where I get kind of my love and passion for life sciences. Here's my contact information. Email is the best way to get in touch with me. My phone number, you can call it and leave a message. It rings in my office, and I am rarely ever in my office. So, like I said, email is kind of the quickest way of getting in touch with me. But if you call, leave a message, I will get back to you. The other way that we can be in contact is called Remind. And if you go to remind.com, or you can text Remind to 81010, and then you can pop in in the message the code for the class. So if your student is in excuse me, period one, you can text at RMHS Bio 1. If your student is in period 2, you can text at RMHS Bio 2 in the message part of the text. Alternately, you can go to remind.com and just put that class code in. You would click join a class, and then just put that class code in and get signed up that way. You can indicate that you are a parent, and then that way I know whose students and whose parents. And I basically send messages reminding students when we have due dates and tests and things like that. And so you don't have to do any messaging, but you can receive all of the reminders that I send out to students. So that's one other way that you can be kind of in the know with what we're doing in class. You can also message me through that if you need. Either way. If you have questions, let me know. And then I like to put just kind of like hit the high points. Like these are the biggest, most important things in terms of keeping students doing their best in biology. One is knowing when I have help times. Wednesdays during late start at 9:05. That's the time that every teacher is going to be available to your student. They can just come in and get help or get caught up on anything that they need to. And I am around most mornings. So students can pretty much guarantee to come in a little early and find me in my room. If I'm not, I'm usually kind of picking up something from the copier, and I'll be right back. But mornings are another good time to get help for me. And then lunches, and I say by appointment because I don't eat lunch in my room often. And so if students can just let me know they're going to come by at lunch, I'll make sure I am available. Things that students can do to make sure that they're staying on top of things is they need to check the agenda on the class website every day, and especially if they're absent. If they're absent, I have everything on the class website that they will need to get caught up. I have a little section for every day that says what to do if you're absent. So that's the number one best thing that they can do. And then checking their grades, making sure that everything looks okay and looks accurate. I've had them all sign up for Remind, and that can be very helpful if they are getting those notifications sent to their phone, especially, but email works too. And then I just really ask them to communicate and keep those lines of communication open and advocating for themselves if they need it. I don't count work as late and take off those penalty points if they have talked to me ahead of time and asked for an extension. And so I just say, ask me ahead of time, talk to me ahead of time. If anything is going on, you're having any issues with class or with life in general, please come talk to me. Those lines of communication being open are really, really, really important for everybody's success and support in the classroom. So I just ask them to communicate with me, and I'm happy to help. A couple side notes there at the bottom. One is you have access to my website. That is where all the agendas are every day. So a lot of times parents like to bookmark that and see what we're learning about and what homework is there, whatever. You can kind of use it as much or as little as you want, but feel free to bookmark that website to see what we're doing every day. And then I also had students download e-textbooks to their computer so they don't need internet or anything to access it. Basically, they just need to look at their desktop and click on it and open it. And that way they don't have to carry a book around. If you would prefer to have a book at home or as a resource somewhere for your student, I am happy to check out a textbook to them. I can check them out individually. I just don't check them out to everybody because we do have the electronic version and they are big and heavy. So let me know if you'd like to check a book out. I'm happy to do that. And then just a general overview of the things that we are going to cover. These are the state standards that we cover. And it says quarter 1 and quarter 2, but this is the same as quarter 3 and quarter 4. Generally, I don't get to evolution and natural selection until the second quarter of the semester. But sometimes we start it during the first quarter. Usually though, I get a little behind and we don't do it until the second quarter, but you can see kind of an overview. We do a lot of genetics, ecology, a little overview of cells and kind of some developmental biology, as well as human impacts on the planet. That's kind of runs throughout the course. And then there is a cumulative final in May. We also have a final at the end of third quarter, right before spring break. So we have 2 finals for each quarter, 1 for each quarter. We do have a science department policy that we do not have phones in class. And so I have asked students to keep them out of reach. They can put it in their backpack. I do have a caddy in the room where they can charge their phones. I just ask that they keep them out of reach unless it's some appropriate time, which kind of is few and far between. Sometimes during independent work time, they're allowed to listen to music if they would like, and they can get out their phones and kind of cue the music up. But generally speaking, those phones need to be put away. If there's anything I need to know about that, or if there are any communication needs that you have with your student, please let me know and we can figure out a solution to that. They still have access to their phones. I asked them to have them out of reach during class, so that we're not pulling them out and getting distracted by them. Second, on the list is a flip book. Students made a flip book the first couple days of class, and there is a page in the flip book for each of the units that we're going to cover, and students can find add anything they would like to their flip book throughout the course of our learning for the unit, and then they can use that flip book on any quiz or test, including the final exam. So usually I give class time, especially in the beginning. We spend class time talking about what we need to put in our flip book. What are some ideas? The key is being able to take all the information we're learning and distill it down into just the items that they need to have in the flip book. In other words, there's not room to write everything that we've learned about in the unit in their flip book. So we have to do some digging and some discovery of, what are the things that we remember and what are the things that we struggle to remember and what are the things that are most important that maybe need to go in here. So we will do, I'll do a lot of modeling and helping them with that in the beginning, and then we'll kind of gradually release into figuring some of that out on their own and practicing that on their own. I would say consider asking them to show you their flip book, and see if they have anything in there. Right now, we haven't had a lot of time to add a lot of things, but throughout the course of the semester, it will fill up. So, kind of a fun thing to do is ask them to see it and see what they've written in there, and have, engage in some conversation around it. So, the last thing there is anything that is missing or late work. I do accept it until the unit exam. And once we finish a unit exam, we are moving on to the next unit. And I do not take any missing or late work for that unit. Um, so that exam is the final deadline. And I think the exception to the rule would be if they have had an extended absence for some reason, we will make a plan, and accommodate for that extended absence. So if there's any concerns around that, again, I just ask them to communicate with me if they need extra time on anything, and I'm happy to give it. But generally speaking, that final deadline for any missing work is the unit exam. And then we move on. This is an activity. I left this slide in here because this is something that I will have parents do when we are together at back to school night. So this is completely optional. You do not have to do this, but I have parents take a little note card, write their name on it and their student's name on it, and then add something on that note card that is interesting about their student. That maybe they wouldn't automatically share on their own. So a lot of times parents will share out about like a unique trait or skill or achievement that their student has accomplished in their life, maybe something that they're very interested in or a hobby, or maybe even something that they're challenged by or struggle with. And it's been really, really cool to read these note cards over the years, because usually 9 times out of 10 parents will share something different than their student will. And so I get to see and kind of hear about a different aspect of their life than they wouldn't normally share with me. So if you would like to, you do not have to, this is optional, shoot me an email with, obviously your name will be on it, but your name and your student's name, and let me know a little something special about your student. And I really enjoy getting those and learning a little bit more about them, especially from the parent guardian perspective. So if you so desire, please feel free to do that. And then last, if you have any questions, concerns, or any wonderings about class, please send me an email at sbucko@psdschools.org. I am happy to get back to you about anything. And if you would like to meet about anything, to discuss anything around class and your child, please feel free to let me know. I'm happy to make time in my schedule once I'm back. And again, I thank you so much for understanding my absence and being patient with me on this, so I can be there and celebrate with my dad. So I look forward to seeing everyone at parent-teacher conferences if you're coming. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. Thank you.